So we will start off standing today. And again, if you have a spiky ball, go ahead and grab that. Or if you have a yoga tune-up ball, that also works. I'm a fan of the spiky balls because you get a little added like acupressure with the little spikies. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'll go ahead and demonstrate with both. But let's start with your right foot. You're going to spread your toes as wide as you can. And then your toes are going to come onto the ball. If you have a spiky ball, you're going to get little spikies in between the toes. And you're just going to lean in and lean out, lean in and lean out. If you were using a tune-up ball, it would look the same. You're just kind of bending those toes back. It's a little stretch, a little pressure, twofold. Whether you're using the spiky ball or the tune-up ball, you'll get a little stretch back of those toes, which is really important. In fact, most people don't realize that a lot of plantar fasciitis appears not just most of us know about the calf being a part of it, but the big toe mobility is a big part of what can cause plantar fasciitis, and that's pain in the bottom of that foot, inflammation in the plantar fascia, the bottom of the foot fascia. So just working your way across the toes, back and forth, just leaning in and leaning out, leaning in and leaning out. And then we'll pause, heel on the ground. We're just going to let the ball go back and forth across those toes. We're still mostly on the toes, not quite onto the ball of the foot yet. And again, either ball, whichever you have. If you don't have a spiky ball and you want to know where to get one, I can let you know. Most of you have one at this point. And then we'll move to the ball of the foot. So behind the toes, and again, the heel of the foot will stay on the ground, and we're just going to move back and forth across the ball of the foot. And then you can invert and evert the ankle at the same time. So you're getting a little mobility work in the ankle. So ankle rolls in, ankle rolls out. If you've got any issues with your ankle, of course, be careful about that. So again, just rolling it back and forth. And then we'll start to move to the ball of the foot. So right in the, or not the ball of foot, excuse me, the arch of the foot. We just did the ball of the foot. The arch of the foot. So right in the center of that foot, that heel is still on the ground, and we're just rolling that ball back and forth. You could also do some of that leaning in and leaning out, particularly if you're using a tune-up ball. You can really arch your whole foot over the ball and then kind of release it. If you're using a spiky ball, especially a smaller one, you won't get as much of an arch over the ball because it's not as big of a ball. If you have a larger spiky ball, it might work. So I like to do both. I mean, so I kind of go back and forth between the two. They both have their benefits. Different kind of pressure from the tune-up ball. It's a little harder. It also is a little bit bigger if you're using a plus size. And then, of course, if you're using the spiky ball, you get the little pressure from the little spikies. So just kind of tuning in and really kind of figuring out what you need. So something's going to feel better for you, and just stick with that. Maybe you go back and forth. Maybe you just stay, like maybe you really need it on the inner arch. So maybe just let that ball stay there and do some pressure on the inner arch. And some of you might need it more on the outer part of your foot. So really paying attention to what you need and go with that. And we're going to go ahead and come to the heel. So For the heel, you'll go ahead and put the ball of the foot on the ground and just go back and forth with your heel. Either ball is fine. Just getting a little pressure on the heel of that foot, going back and forth. Again, I'll just keep going back and forth between the two balls so you can see what it looks like. We're going to be working with the spiral line today. And the spiral line, the fascial line, it really starts with the bottom of the foot. So that's why we're starting with that today. And then we're going to roll front to back. So just rolling out that whole foot front to back. Again, either ball is fine. Front to back, front to back. And then the other thing about the feet, and most of you have heard me say this before, if you only have time to roll one thing, I recommend rolling the feet. It affects the whole fascial system. So if you only have time for one thing, roll your feet. I have recommendations for next. If you have time for others, I recommend the belly, the torso area, and the glutes. But the feet, if you just roll your feet, you're going to affect your whole system. All right. So before we go to our second foot, we're going to go ahead and find a wall space. And so you can use the wall or a chair or something. We're going to be doing a stretch on the calf of your right foot or right leg. So step the right foot back and step the left foot forward. And it's a lunge stride. You're going to tuck your hips underneath you a bit. So you might feel the calf. You might also feel a little bit of hip flexor on the right side, really reaching that heel towards the ground. Now, if you're tight in your calves, your toes are probably going to want to turn out. Do your best to point them forward so you feel that stretch. And then once you have the stretch, you're just going to move a little side to side. So you're going to feel that stretch move from the right to the left of that calf a little bit. Hopefully, you're also feeling down into that Achilles tendon area just a bit. Feel it wherever you're the tightest. So just pay attention, make sure you're not overdoing it, but make sure you do feel something. You'll need to keep your chest lifted to feel this stretch. A couple more rocks side to side. Okay. And then same foot again, you're going to move a little closer to the wall, tuck your toes under. And what you're going to do is think about having a real high-heeled, spiky-heeled shoe on. So I'm really letting my heel come high. I really want to try to spread my toes as wide as I can first. So spread those toes. You might even reach down and pull the big toe over. And then really feel that stretch in the toes of that right foot. So you can face the wall, turn the side of the wall, or you don't even have to hold on if you don't need to, but just leaning in and feeling that. And then maybe you rock it a little side to side. That's probably a little easier if you're at the wall. It's not a big movement. And again, as I mentioned earlier, whether you caught that or not, the big toe mobility is really connected to whether you do or don't end up with plantar fasciitis. So it's important to keep the mobility in the toes. All right. Good. And then the last one we'll do is tuck the toes under. Same thing. So now we're going to be stretching the toes the opposite way. You'll also get a stretch on the top of your right foot. So tuck those toes under. So you're going to feel a little arch in that foot. If it cramps, just shake it out and bring it back as you can. So then again, the knee is going to need to be a little bent. And you're just feeling the top of the foot and the toes. If you're on a yoga mat still, you can even use the grippiness of that mat to help tug on the superficial layers of the fascia by almost like dragging it forward. You can see I'm kind of dragging my foot a little forward, and I'm getting some friction on the top of my foot when I do that. So it's not a fast movement. I'm really letting that mat grip my foot. If you're not still on a yoga mat, that probably won't work. You'll just hold this stretch. Couple more breaths. All right, and then we'll let that go. And then just for a moment before we switch sides, just go ahead and stand on your 2 feet, close your eyes, start to notice what you feel. Hopefully one foot feels very different than the other. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. And then we're going to go to side number 2. So find your ball, spread the toes as wide as you can. We start with that leaning in and leaning out. So let the toes pull back, feel the stretch. You'll work your way across the toes towards the smaller toes, and then work your way back towards the big toe. You'll start to move the ball side to side across those toes so the heel stays on the ground. And again, you'll just move back and forth. And I'll just keep switching back and forth between the spiky ball and the tune-up ball so you can see what it looks like with both. Very similar. It's just going to be slightly different with the tune-up ball because, again, I'm using a plus size and it's bigger. And of course, no spikies. And let's move to the ball of the foot. So we move the ball back and forth. It's the ball of the foot. We're not quite onto the arch of the foot yet. Good. So one of the big things that we're doing when we do myofascial work is we're helping our proprioceptive system. So our proprioception is our knowing where our body is in space. And so when we start to lose that, we start having trouble with balance, stability. It's really important to be able to react quickly if you're falling. It's important to be able to obviously balance as we get older. If we start losing our balance, we start getting into trouble. So proprioceptive ability, really important, and doing fascial work is really helpful with proprioception. And then we'll move to the arch of the foot. So right in the middle of that foot, we can do some of that leaning in and leaning out. And again, if I'm on the tune-up ball, I get a little bit more of an arch over that ball because it's a little bigger and a little harder. I can do that, and then I can start to move it side to side. And again, I think there's benefit to both the spiky ball and the tune-up ball. I like them both for different reasons. So I like to go back and forth. I like to use one, and then I like to use the other for a little bit. Again, maybe you even pause. So I've got the ball on the inner arch there, and I'm just letting it sit there. I could, lean in and lean out, or I could just simply hold and breathe. I could do the same with the outer part of the arch of the foot. It's kind of poking out to the side there. And then, of course, I can start to move again after a few breaths. And this foot might be really different from the other foot. So just do what you need to do to take care of this foot. All right, let's go to the heel. So the ball of your foot will be on the ground, pressing into the ball, whichever one it is, moving your heel back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes it's nice to hold on when you're doing this as well. A little bit more balance if you need it. But it's also nice to challenge your balance and go ahead and stand. So you do what you need to do to take care of yourself today. All right, let's roll the whole foot out. We'll go front to back, front to back. And then we're going to find our wall space or a chair or something for some stability. We're going to step your left foot back. Make sure your toes are pointed forward. Remember last time I said this, your toes might turn out if you're very tight in your calf. Do your very best to point the toes forward. You'll step your right foot forward now, and you're in a lunge stride. Tuck your buns underneath you a little bit, tall through your crown of your head. You might feel a little hip flexor stretch on the left. Not everybody will. Definitely a stretch in the calf on your left side. And then we just start to rock a little side to side. So you might feel how that stretch moves a little bit across the calf, right to left. One more time. Notice one side is different than the other. That's really normal. And then we do that high-heeled shoe, right? So bend the toes back. I like to reach down and actually pull my big toe over, and then I put on my spiky heel. And then I just hold that, or I could do a little movement side to side. Does not have to be big. And I know this can be really intense for some of you, but if it is, that means you need to do this. You're likely going to end up with an issue with the bottom of your foot, your fascia on the bottom of your foot, if your toe mobility has decreased a lot. And that can happen for any variety of reasons. Doesn't really matter why. What matters is that you deal with it so that you don't end up with problems, pain in the bottom of your feet. Couple more breaths. Maybe you're moving, maybe you're still. We're going to go the opposite direction now. So you're going to tuck your toes under, top of the foot on the ground. Okay. And then again, if you're on a yoga mat still, you can use that yoga mat to do a little friction, a little tugging on the tissue on the top of your toes and foot. If you're not on a yoga mat, I wouldn't recommend dragging. You don't want to give yourself rug burn or anything. But on the yoga mat, it kind of grabs that skin and that superficial layer of your fascia. And you can do a little bonus fascial work on the really superficial layers. Otherwise, just hold that stretch. You can move or you can be still. Maybe a little rock, maybe not. Toes are bent back. You're going to feel the top of that foot stretching as well. Take a couple more breaths. And we will let that go. All right. And before we come back to the ground, just go ahead and stand on your 2 feet, close your eyes. Notice how your feet feel. Hopefully they feel similar at this point. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Okay. So we're going to be focusing on the opposite end of our body now. We're going to be taking a yoga block and placing it on its middle setting. Our neck is going to go on the corner of the block. We're going to be doing a little bit of breath work here while we're doing just a passive release on the neck. So the breath work goes like this. You're going to breathe in through your nose as fully as you can. And then you're going to breathe in again. And then it's a very slow exhale. So it's 2 breaths in through the nose. The first one is as full as you can. And when you think you're as full as you can, you're going to sip in a little more. And then it's a very slow exhale. And I will talk you through it. So your neck goes on the block. Okay. And we're just going to let the pressure of that block just do a little bit of work for us. We're not moving yet. We're going to focus on the breath. So close your eyes. It helps me focus. If you're not comfortable closing your eyes, just a gentle gaze on the ceiling. So the breath again goes like this. And then when I think I've breathed in as much as I can, I sip in a little bit more through my nose and then through my mouth very slowly until I'm all the way empty. And then we do it again. Low exhale. It's like you're breathing out of a straw with your mouth when you exhale through the mouth. 2 breaths in through the nose, all the way in. Again, in. And then slowly, like you're breathing out of a straw through your mouth until you're completely empty. Keep going. Breathe in. Low exhale. And again, breathe in. Again. Low exhale. Do that 2 more times. Breathe in through your nose. Again, slow exhale. One more time, and this time when you go to empty, you're going to hold your breath out. So breathe in. Slow exhale. Keep emptying, keep emptying, keep emptying. All the breath is out. Hold the breath out. Don't breathe in. Try to hold the breath out. And when it becomes uncomfortable, you breathe in and out again. Normal breaths, you can start to turn your head from right to left as you slowly breathe in and out. Slowly breathe in and out. We're going to be using that breath several times today. So again, it's when we do it, we're going to do it one more time in the same position. It's 2 breaths in through the nose. So it's as full as you can, or at least as full as you think you can. And then you're going to sip in a little more and then very slowly out through the mouth. Let's do it again. So let your head just relax. Here we go. In through the nose. Again, slow exhale through the mouth. And again, breathe in. Slow exhale through the mouth. In through the nose. Again, exhale slow through the mouth, like through a straw. 3 more times. In through the nose. Again, through the mouth, slow. Through the nose, breathe in. Again, through the mouth, slow. This last time, you're going to hold the breath out. Breathe in. Again, in. Exhale slow, and then you'll hold the breath out. At empty, hold the breath out. Hold it as long as you can until it becomes uncomfortable. And then you breathe normally. And just let your head rock side to side. And then gently roll off of your block. So go ahead and set your block off to the side. You're going to find 2 yoga tune-up balls. They'll be out of your tote, one on each glute. So lift your glutes, place the balls, bring the soles of your feet together. Now, some of you might need support here in some fashion, a ball or a block under your thighs or knees. So do what you need to do to be okay for you. We're going to go ahead and do that breath again with the balls here. Okay. So it's 2 in through the nose. Remember, it's as full as you can, and then a little more, and then it's that slow exhale. So inhale, again, exhale slow. Now, if any of you feel like you're hanging upside down and your neck is uncomfortable, please put a towel or something under your head. Some of you, if your head sits forward of your body in any way, are not going to be comfortable laying flat on your back. So please support. And again, through the nose. And again, slow exhale. Can be through the mouth or the nose with the exhale, but definitely in through the nose for the inhale. And again, slow exhale through the nose or pursed lips through the mouth. It's your choice on the exhale, but it's very slow and controlled. 3 more times in through the nose. Again, slow exhale. 2 more times. Breathe in. And again, slow exhale. This time, when we do the 2 breaths in, you're going to stay inhaled. So breathe in. And again, hold the breath. Only as long as it's interesting. If it starts to become stressful, you let it go. When you're ready, exhale slowly. Bring the sole of your left foot to the earth. Lift that ball out from underneath the left glute. Set it to the side. You still have a ball under your right glute. Your right knee moves in and out, in and out. If you want, you can separate your feet a little bit more. So that way you can either let both knees fall to the side, or at least you have a nice solid base when you move your right knee. So the right knee falls out and in, out and in. Just keep breathing slowly, intentionally, if possible, in and out of the nose. If you're not feeling anything, move the ball. If you're feeling too much, then you also move the ball. It's creating anxiety. It is too much. And then you can either leave the right knee out to the side and shimmy side to side, or you could cross your right ankle over your left thigh and shimmy side to side. Your choice. But either way, the right knee is turned to the right, whether it's ankle crossed or just knee out. Letting that ball travel across the glute, back and forth. And again, we are on the right glute. It's not always important which side you start on, except for, following a little bit of my instruction. But today it's important because we are going to be crossing the body after we do this glute. We're not going right to the other side. We're going to be addressing the opposite side of the body on the upper part of your body. All right, so you're going to go ahead and move the ball out to the right a bit now. You have the choice to just simply stay here on your back, right knee out and in, or perhaps you want a little more and you come onto your right side. So I need a little more, so I'm going to roll onto my right side. I'm on my right forearm here. Right knee goes out and in and out and in. Outer glute. This can be a little tender, so really pay attention. And then we're going to take that bicycle maneuver with the leg. So if you're on your back, you still take the leg to the right. So if you're on your side, it's a little easier. I'm just going straight out. Okay. If I am on my back, I am taking the leg out to the right. So it's not towards the ceiling, it is out to the right. So we're keeping the work in that outer glute here. You could backward bicycle also. And then if you're on your side, go ahead and come onto your back again and move the ball closer to the middle of your glute again. So we're going to be just doing a little bit more multitasking here. So you're going to be doing some mobility work while the ball is underneath you. So you're going to bring your knee into your chest, extend it towards the ceiling, and then extend it out. So we're working on some hamstring mobility. And it's like now we are doing a giant slow bicycle with that right leg. So big stretch out, bring the knee to the chest. The next time you do that, bring the knee in, extend the heel towards the ceiling, point, flex, bend your knee, reach the leg out. We're going to backward bicycle, reach towards the ceiling, flex the ankle, point the toes, bend the knee, and then you reach it out and then you bring it back up. So it's like a backward bicycle. Point, flex, bend the knee. There, it does not have to be perfect as long as you're getting some movement in that hamstring, in that hip. It's all good. Last time, flex, point, and then go ahead and put your foot down. Lift up, remove the ball, step your feet wide, and you're just going to let those knees rock side to side. And then we're going to find our block, or some of you might decide a foam roller is a better option for you. We're taking the block or the foam roller to the left armpit area, your lats. So we did the right glute. We're going to the opposite side of our body. This is all along that spiral line. Armpit on the block or your foam roller. If either is too much, place a towel between you and the block or the foam roller. So bottom arm, that left arm is on the ground. I like to support my head with my right hand. Make sure you're in the middle of your block or your roller so when you lean back, you don't fall off the back. Then we roll front to back, front to back. If you're not feeling anything, then move. And of course, if you're feeling too much, you might need to move somewhere up or down. Or again, maybe you put a towel folded up between you and your block or your roller so to absorb some of the pressure. This can be a lot, especially for any of you who have any shoulder issues. Very oftentimes your lats are a part of the problem. Keep breathing. If you needed more, you could put both hands behind your head and just make sure you don't bonk your elbow on the ground. That means all of your weight is on there instead of it being held up by that bottom arm. So that will be too much for some of you. So make sure that you're really checking in. Keep breathing. Couple more times. Okay, so you're just going to let that bottom arm come to the ground again if it came up. And then you're going to let your head drop towards your shoulder. So ear towards shoulder. If I needed support, I could slide my hand between my cheek and my shoulder. I could put a towel in there. You're getting a little stretch on the right side of your neck. And then just very slowly start to nod your head like yes. So a little movement here. One more big breath. And we'll come off of the block or the roller. All right, so we're going to be putting two balls underneath you again. So you're laying down, two balls under your glutes, and we bring the soles of the feet together again. So if they were close to you last time, maybe they're a little farther away. Just try to do something a little different with the position of your feet. Maybe they're even a little separate this time. So find something that feels different than what you felt before. Again, some of you might need some type of support, and that's fine. So find what you need. And then once you get settled in, we're going to go back to the breathing that we did before. So it's 2 breaths in through the nose and then a long exhale, either through the nose or the mouth. If it's through the mouth, remember, it's like you're breathing out of a straw. It's very slow. So here we go. Breathe in. Again, low exhale. Try to melt your body into the earth as you exhale. Again, if you need support under your head, please put it there. Breathe in. And again, slow exhale. Melt the backside of your body into the earth. Breathe in. Again. Exhale. 3 more times. Breathe in. Again. Exhale. Breathe in through the nose. Again. Slow exhale. This time you're going to hold the breath in. So here we go. Breathe in through the nose. Again, hold the breath. And you only hold as long as it's interesting. When it becomes stressful, you are done. So when you're ready, it's a slow exhale. And then you'll bring the sole of your right foot to the earth, slide the ball out from your right side, set it off to the side. And step your right foot a little bit to the right so you've got some space. And then that left knee starts to move in and out, or maybe both knees move in and out, or to the left and towards the ceiling, to the left and towards the ceiling. If you're not feeling enough, move the ball. It could go up or down. Eventually, we'll all take it to the left, but for right now, maybe you just find a place where it needs to be more closer to the tailbone. Maybe it's higher up, maybe it's lower. Everybody's different in terms of where they need this. And then you either leave the left knee out and start to shimmy your hips, or maybe you cross the ankle over the thigh. It's your choice. Moving those hips side to side. The ball walks itself off of your body. Just go ahead and put it back. Check in. It's really easy to start to kind of zone out or start thinking about what's happening later when we just kind of go on autopilot. So just really check in, like notice what you're feeling. Give yourself this gift of being present in this moment. We don't get that very often. Our days are so busy, most of us. We don't really get an opportunity too often to tune in and feel our bodies. All right, so go ahead and uncross the ankle. If it's crossed, move the ball to the left. And then you have your choice of either staying on your back and the knee goes to the left, or some of you might need more and you might come on to that forearm and do the same thing. Breathing. All right, if you're on your side, you can try staying here, see how it goes. Bicycle out the leg. If you're on your back, remember this bicycle of the leg still goes to the left. So we don't go towards the ceiling yet. That will be the next one that we do. So take it out. So it's on that outer glute. So again, doing multitasking here. We're working on mobility in this left while we're doing some myofascial release work on that outer glute. All right, so move the ball to the center of the glute again. And then we're going to forward bicycle towards the ceiling. So bend the knee, reach it up, and you're just taking a little stretch in the back of your left leg as you're doing some work on the glutes. We're going to go the opposite direction. So reach towards the ceiling, point, flex, bend the knee, and then you'll reach it out, reach towards the ceiling, point, flex, bend the knee, slow, kind of a backward bicycle. Point, flex, bend the knee, reach it out, reach it up, point, flex. We'll do that one more time, reach it up, point, and flex, bend the knee, go ahead and put your foot on the ground, lift your hips, remove the ball. You're gonna find your block or again, your foam roller. If the block is too much, you use a foam roller for this. So we're right here on the armpit area. And this side might be different. Maybe you need something different on this side. So the arm is on the block or the roller. We start to roll front to back. Make sure you're in the middle of your roller or your block so you don't fall off. Maybe you support your head with your left hand. I like to do that. And we breathe. Maybe you need more. So perhaps you bring both hands behind the head. You'll need to keep that right elbow a little bit pulled forward so you don't run into it on the ground. Just make sure you're adjusting your body so that you're feeling what you need or want to feel. So if it's too much, then you back it off. All right, go ahead and extend that right arm down if you had it up. Let your ear drop towards your shoulder. Again, if you need support, maybe slide your hand in there or maybe a towel. Let your ear drop towards the shoulder, and then you'll just start to nod your head like yes. Keep breathing. Couple more times. I'll lift you off of the block. So you're going to be needing your yoga tune-up balls, and they'll be inside your tote. And then most of you will also use a block. We're going to be working on the inner thigh. The right thigh is where we'll start. So you'll go ahead and place your block down. See, it's lengthwise on its flattest setting. I'm going to be laying down here. The balls are on top of the block like this. So go ahead and take a peek at that so that you know what you're doing. And then we'll be placing the inner thigh right by the knee on those balls. Now, if I'm leaning to the left, I'm going to have a lot less pressure. If I'm leaning towards my belly or even towards the right, I'm going to feel this more. So you decide how much pressure, and then we start to straighten and bend the right leg. Straighten and bend, straighten and bend. You want to be feeling something. If you're not, then you need to change something. And of course, if you're not really feeling much of anything, you need to change something also. So a couple more times, straighten and bend, straighten and bend. And then keep the knee bent, and you're going to lift your foot towards the ceiling. You might even feel a little something happening in the hip. So we're working on some hip strength and mobility while we're doing a little release with the balls underneath the leg. So multitasking again here. So working on that mobility of the hip, a little bit of strength work, little inner thigh, myofascial release work. A couple more times. And then straighten the leg and then internally rotate. So roll the whole leg towards the ground and then bring it back. The whole leg internally rotates and then rolls back to the start position. Do it again. Couple more times. So move the balls up whatever degree you can. So everybody's flexibility will determine how far you get to move the balls. And we're going to repeat. So we straighten and bend, straighten and bend. Keep breathing. Keep the knee bent, and we'll lift the foot towards the ceiling, working on that internal rotation, mobility of the hip here. Couple more times after this one. And you straighten the leg, internally rotate, roll the whole leg down, Bring it back to your start position. Roll the whole leg. Bring it back. Keep doing that. Couple more times. All right. So we're going to be taking our double ball now to the opposite side of the body on the upper back. So I'll just demonstrate here where it's going to be kind of right next to the left shoulder blade. Okay. So you might go ahead and just lay the balls on the ground and then situate yourself on top of those balls. And then again, some of you might need a little support for your head. It could even be a block. So if you feel like you're super hanging upside down and your neck's uncomfortable, a little towel, a little pillow, a little block, whatever you need. So again, the balls are right next to the left shoulder blade, in between the shoulder blade and the spine. And they're stacked, just so you see this again, this way. Okay, one on top of the other. And when you get yourself situated here, if you decide you actually needed more, you could take one of the balls out of there. A single ball is much more intense. And then you're just going to start to make some movements with the left arm. So like a snow angel is one. You could do kind of like a swimming motion, anything that feels like it's serving you on this left arm. You could also just simply lay the arm in a position and take some deep breaths. Other things you could do. You could kind of twist. I like to support my head if I'm doing that a little side to side. You could shimmy. So I'm just kind of pushing into my feet and going up and down. That can be pretty intense. So that's not for everyone. Again, a little side to side, a little up, down. Again, if you need support, you have support, some movement of the arm. Take a couple more big breaths. And then we'll start to move to our other inner thigh. So placing the balls on top of your block, go ahead and lay your body next to the balls and the block right by the knee, the inner thigh, right by the knee. And we start with our straighten and bend and straighten and bend. And straighten and bend. Good. And again, you control how much pressure. If you need less, lean to the right. If you need more, towards the belly or lean to the left. The next time you find your knee bent, we start to do our hip movement. So the foot lifts towards the ceiling, a little internal rotation of the hip. Multitasking here. We've got some myofascial release working on that inner thigh right by the knee. The VMO, vastus medialis obliquus. I know it's a mouthful, but that can actually be a real issue for a lot of people with their knees if that is either locked up or combination of locked up and or weak can become a problem for stability of the knee. All right, so straighten the leg. We internally rotate the whole leg. Bring it back. Internally rotate. Bring it back. Few more times. And then we'll go ahead and bring the balls a little bit up the leg. So everybody's different. So your flexibility will be really a determining factor how high you can move the balls. Maybe it's 2 inches, maybe it's halfway up your leg. But we'll go back to our straighten and bend here. And this side might be very different from the other side. You might notice more or less. So adjust the pressure so that you feel something, but again, not too much. Breathe. And we'll bend the knee and we do that internal rotation again. Lift the foot towards the ceiling with the knee bent. We lift and bring it down. We lift and bring it down. Last time, and then we'll straighten the leg and roll the whole leg down and then bring it back. Roll it down, bring it back. Okay, so you've got the opposite shoulder blade area. This is the right side now. So again, the balls will be in between your shoulder blade and your spine. You might need a block. Most people need at least a little something so their neck is comfortable. And then we start to move the arm. Maybe like a snow angel, maybe a kind of swimming motion. Could take your arm across your body, reach it out. And as always, you can certainly find a place where you just lay the arm and take deep breaths. And you could also move the whole body. I like to support my head if I'm doing that. I could do a little twist side to side. I could do a little shimmy up and down. And I didn't mention it on the other side, but if all of this was way too much, you just get up and take this to the wall. And you do way less pressure if you're standing versus laying on the balls. One more big breath. All right. So we'll finish off with a neck release with the balls this time. But we are going to do another round of that breath. So the balls on top of the block. Lay your neck on the balls. And then before we do any movement, we'll go ahead and do a couple rounds of, or at least one round to start of that breath. So again, it's in through the nose. Again, low exhale. Through the nose or through the mouth slowly. Breathe in through the nose. Again, exhale slowly. In through the nose. Exhale slowly. In through the nose. Exhale slowly. In through the nose. Exhale slowly, hold the breath out. And you'll start to breathe again and just move your head side to side, like no. Up and down, like yes. And then turn your head to the right, like no, and then nod your head yes. Turn your head to the left and nod your head yes. And go ahead and remove the balls, and we'll do one last round of that breath before you take your final rest. So whatever's comfortable in your body, you can go right into Shavasana, or if it's more comfortable with your knees bent, you keep your knees bent. And then we'll go ahead and take those 2 big breaths in through the nose. Exhale slowly. In through the nose. And again, exhale slowly. In through the nose. Exhale slowly. In through the nose. Exhale slowly. In through the nose. Exhale slowly. This time after your double breath or double inhale through the nose, you hold the breath. Inhale. Again, hold the breath. Only as long as it's comfortable. And then this time, open your mouth and let everything go. And let your body melt into the earth. Please give yourself this gift of rest. Take your time, minutes or more if you can. Thank you, Regina. Namaste.